What's poppin', players? Welcome back to a TwoPennyGames review, this time for the Plucky Squire. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friends and co-host. Say hello to the people, Connor, Elliott.
I have not played Plucky Squire. My opinion and any input I give during this review is admissible.
Indeed.
Inadmissible.
Inadmissible means you can't.
No, you can't, like, you saying, yeah, you can...
You're thinking of dismissible.
No.
Admissible. That's legal league talk.
Yeah.
No, admissible means that you can say it and that it can be used in court.
No, admissible means that you can remove it and it would do nothing.
I will find this out now. This is a place where we educate you. Acceptable
or valid, especially as evidence in court of law.
Got my ass.
Oh, okay. All right. And say hello to the... All right. He just cares about being right. He doesn't care about, like, anything other than just being... You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't everyone?
I care about my fiance, soon-to-be wife. I care about my cats.
Say hello to the people, Phil, Shoemaker.
Games. Hi, I'm the engaged one.
There we go.
Technically, he was being more introductory than really anyone else has. Telling you about personal things. What's a name, really?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here reviewing the Plucky Squire. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Make sure you drop a comment down below on how you feel about the Plucky Squire, and make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us for more. All of our links for social medias are in the description below, as well as our TikTok, in which you will see an edited down version of this review in the coming future. Who knows when? You know, when I can. I'm trying my best, ladies and gentlemen. Most recently on that channel, a Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 abridged review has hit the TikTok and hit the YouTube short feed, edited by one Connor Elliott.
That's my name.
Congratulations.
Excellent work.
It was great. It was a great video. I liked it a lot. Woohoo. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're not talking about that today. Today, we are talking about the Plucky Squire. And, ladies and gentlemen, the Plucky Squire is a good game. A pretty good game, I would even argue. This is one where, like, I wanted to give it higher praise than I will today. It's just, it does a lot of, like, really good things, but it doesn't do anything phenomenally. This is what I would call just a super charming, super inventive, and from a concept level, it's a very creative game. But from a mechanical level and what you're actually doing in the game, it's quite shallow. There's not a lot to it. In fact, what you're doing in the early hours is what you're going to be doing in the later hours, which is just kind of swinging your sword a little bit. And, you know, its puzzles are interesting and, you know, often creative, especially with the word mechanic where, you know, the Plucky Squire is, of course, a children's book that is opened up and you play as the Plucky Squire. And then, like, words will be written on the page that you're adventuring through, and you can, like, pick up adjectives and throw them out and put a new one in, and it'll change the world around you type thing. And all of that's really cool and interesting, and it never really gets old, but it also never really gets, it never evolves past what you see in the early hours. But the art style is super charming and really, really well executed. The characters are fun and, you know, memorable in a, like, general caricature way, but I wouldn't say, like, character writing is super deep in this game. And overall, like, it's always, like, a cool time. Like, you're having a fun time, but you're not having, like, the best time of your life. And I really wish that it would just take some of its mechanics a few steps further. It would build on some of its mechanics a little bit more to really just elevate it to that next level. But it doesn't do anything necessarily wrong. It just kind of keeps it simple. And I can respect that from a couple of different perspectives, but overall, like, even though this is a kid's game, I wish it would expect more out of the kids it expects to be playing it. If you're at least at the reading level where you can comprehend the words that they use in this game, you are at a comprehension level that could demand a little bit more of the player. And so, yeah, I think in general, the Plucky Squire is charismatic, creative, bursting with style. I love when it jumps from 2D to 3D and back and forth. But again, I just kind of wish it did a little bit more with all of its premises. I wish it was a little bit more with the fact that you can, like, pick up the the storybook and like flip it over and turn the pages and so forth. And I wish we could get a little wackier with some of the word puzzles that were going on in it. But overall, this is a super solid game, a strong recommendation if you have kids, and I think can really, really help with sort of early development in terms of playing a video game. You can really like sit a kid down at most age ranges as long as they're able to read, and they'll kind of figure it out and be able to play with this game. I wish it was a little bit harder, but I think when you get into elements such as like boss fights or just any new gameplay gimmick, I always think those are a lot of fun. And so I just wish I saw more of them, and I wish they built on themselves and became more complex as the game continued. But for the most part, what you see is what you get, and but that doesn't take away from the enjoyment of the game, I would say. But Phil, you've been playing this game as well. Neither of us have beaten it, but both of us have made it at least into Chapter 6. I'm a little bit further than you. How are you feeling about the Plucky Squire?
Overall, I think my overall spirit is similar to yours. I'm a little less, I'm a little lower on the game. I'm not gonna call this a good game. I'm gonna call this an all right game. Most of my like stuff happens like, sure, I love the charm. I love the transitions from 2D to 3D. I love the art of this game. It's very cute. It's very creative, but I feel like all of that is just it's just skin deep. You know, like it's not deep enough to like, the game is just like you said, it's very easy. It's not very complex. I wish a lot of the word puzzles were a little more like, I wish there was more like other solutions. Like you can use other words from other like sentences and maybe like, oh, I can take, like for the main example I'm thinking of is like, there's this bridge right at some point, and it's a very, I think the word is collapsed in it. So you have to take collapsed out and then put solid on there. So it's a solid bridge. I was like, oh, I have this word giant, which would change it from a collapsed bridge to a giant bridge. And it didn't work. It still used it as an incorrect solution. Even though it fixed the collapsed bridge, it was, I guess, too big. Even though it still looked like it connected to the other side, and it was still perfectly usable. This game, I think it just doesn't do a very good job of signposting is the wrong word, of making it clear when you can make a jump onto a ledge when it looks like you might be able to. Like there's another puzzle in a similar spot where you can change a block to a set of stairs, and you can move the block and then change it to stairs. And I tried to use the stairs to go up onto this other platform, but that's not the solution it wanted me to do. So I had to go and find another way to do it. I wish it was more like it used the player's creativity more. I would like, sure, I don't know how they would make a linear game around that. It would be a lot harder to do. Like I said, I don't make games. I don't know how it works. Just overall, I just wish the word mechanic was a little more creative. You know, I just wish there were more outcomes.
Yeah,
you're making a face at me. Do you have something you want to?
Yeah. You're thinking about jumping on platforms, and I didn't have a problem with. I know the block puzzle you're talking about with the stairs. I know exactly what that is, and I had zero issues with that. But I do agree that I wish the word mechanic was a little bit more advanced. The thing about it for me is, the game takes place over chapters, like chapters in a book, right? So like, and that's where the game because you can turn the pages of the book, like you can hop out of the book, turn the pages to kind of quickly jump back to, well, not that quick actually, but to even, make your way back to earlier places in the game, or skip ahead depending on what you're looking to do. And sometimes it'll have you jump back, flip over a page to go grab an item that was on the last page, but never does it ever go any further than that. I'm in chapter 6, and it was in chapter 6 that I realized, oh, I can flip to any page within this chapter as I've continued along my journey. So like, I could be in page 25 or whatever and go all the way back to page 1 of chapter 6. I wish that there were secrets or hidden things to discover in the game that used all of the elements of the entire chapter. I just wish it was a little bit more layered like that.
Yeah.
And they try to give you like fun things to find. Like there is a currency which is light bulbs, which I think is creative, like a light bulb idea, like sort of in a colorful kids book kind of way. That's a cool currency to use. I wish there was like secret light bulbs that were worth like 25 a piece as opposed to just the individual ones that you could find by like, let me take a word from page 5, bring it over to page 20. Let me take this object from page 18, bring it over to page 3, and be able to unlock a door in this way or that way, or just do something a little bit more with that. But as for like the individual puzzles or navigating the environments, yeah, I never had any issues or problems with that. Like I always felt that like what you see is exactly what you get. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't have that specific issue.
I wasn't having trouble figuring the puzzles out. I just wish that there were more dynamic solutions.
Well, my point, because you said you had issues determining what ledges you could jump on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that problem.
Like, there was a stair. There was a bit. You mentioned that you knew the part I was talking about, but there was, whenever I had the stairs on the block, it looked like I should be able to jump up there and attack this bug that was threatening this snail or whatever. But I wasn't able to. But that's a very minor thing. Another thing that I had an issue with was just I ran into a lot of bugs in this game, and not in the enemy type that you fight, but literal just that you game breaking bugs where I think it was right after you get shoved out of the book, and you get introduced to like going into sticky notes and other papers on the desk that the book is on. There's a little rabbit blocking a cave, and you open a lunchbox, and there's like a bunch of carrot sticks and grapes you bring in. So I would bring in the carrot stick, I would feed to the rabbit, and the rabbit wouldn't move. The rabbit wouldn't get out of the way. It would just stay there, and I can't talk to anybody. I wouldn't even be able to move. Like it looked like it just wasn't working. And I sat there for a solid 2 minutes and nothing happened. So I restarted the checkpoint, and it took me all the way back to before I got pushed out of the book. So then I had to get pushed out of the book again. We did all that stuff again, then replay that whole part, and then go back in. Same thing. The carrot stick fed to the rabbit wouldn't move, and I would just get locked in this spot. So I had to close the game, reopen it, come back, do that whole sequence again. And this time, hey, the rabbit moved, so I was able to leave and progress.
Interesting.
And go on my merry way. There was also, there was one that I ran into today that I can't remember. So I'll just complain about how slow it takes to fucking turn the pages in this book. It takes fucking forever. Takes an abysmal amount of time to turn through these pages.
But you're not like turning the pages a lot.
But like, so there's one. I think there's actually a bug in the chapter I'm in right now where you get this like.
I'll also say I've had close to no bugs. At least like the only like ones I've had is like. Connor, when you trigger a conversation and characters like path find their way to like get into places so that the conversation can take place. There are times where it's like, oh, the Plucky Squire is kind of like running in place a little bit, and then he snaps to position as opposed to like watching him walk. That's happened to me like 2 or 3 times. But other than something like that, I've experienced 0 bugs.
Fonts?
But so no, shut up. So there in the chapter that I'm in, chapter 6, there's like a potion you get to melt this like grass that's like in the way, right? And so you use it first, and then you come across this big golem, and you have to knock pillars into him. Whatever, not going to get too far into it. And then you have to go back, and the wizard has to make another potion for you, but like he's not gonna do it. So you have to go to a previous page, go in his house, and there's supposed to be a potion there, but there's no potion in his house. So I think my thing is just bugged here. I just got to restart it and come back to it. So that's just where I got stuck. I wasn't able to use it again to melt grass that was in the way. At this rate,
you might need to like uninstall and reinstall the game, because I've not. I know that exact part you're talking about. Everything has been working fine for me.
Yeah, maybe I got the .exe Sonic.exe scary creepypasta version Plucky Squire, where it's gonna pop out with realistic bloody eyes and kill my family.
Interesting. Okay.
Anyway. Yeah, so I like this game. I just wish it was better.
In a way, I do wish it was. Yeah, I wish it was a little bit more evolved. I wish it was a little bit more complex. I just wish it asked more of the player. in almost every puzzle situation, the answer is on screen, which I can enjoy because it would be annoying to be like, how was I supposed to know I need to go back to page 3, like, and I'm on page 18, like, that's so far back, you know? But, like, at the same time, like, it just gets a little tedious just always being like, all right, well, there's a sentence here, so let me go find another sentence somewhere in the world to go find it or whatever, or you know, I mean, sometimes they do, you know, have you pop out. Like I love when you pop out of the book and there's a whole 3D level that wasn't there before. Like, and usually those levels are fun and inventive. There's, you know, a level you go through where you find like a little rocket pack, and you use a rocket pack to like light candles and stuff. Like, that's a fun level, that
one's the highlight for me.
Yeah, it engages the idea of exploration and so forth, like and running around on the desk that the book is on. And yeah, just like a game with a lot of charm. I understand your critique about skin deep gameplay here, Phil, but I think the reason it doesn't bother me here, but it would bother me in a case of, like, say, a Final Fantasy 16, where this game knows that it's skin deep and it's not trying to pretend to be anything else. It's not trying to pretend to be a super intense character action game, or it's not trying to pretend to be an RPG. Hey, no, this is a 2D/3D puzzle platformer for kids, and that's about it. We're just gonna hit you with this really, really cool art style the duality of these two really cool art styles, and we're just gonna kind of put you on this fun little adventure throughout the entire thing, and you know what you see is exactly what you get. So to me, the style is the substance here, and it's acceptable because they are leaning all the way in on that, as opposed to, like, say, a Final Fantasy 16, where my critique was that was all style, no substance. The game pretended like there was something other than the style in it. Like, it pretended like there was deep RPG mechanics. It pretended like there was, great personalized action combat. And in reality, it was just button mashing and damage tanks the entire experience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas this, it's like, yeah, every enemy takes like 2 or 3 hits to kill, and then they're dead. And then, you know, here's like a cool little move where you can throw the sword, or here's a cool little move where you can do a spin attack or whatever. Other than that, hit trees and bushes to get coins, and then you can get art. I do like the collectible of this game is concept art. And it'll come with like a little description of like, oh, this was the Plucky Squire before we made him a writer. So, you know, he doesn't have the little feather in his cap, or the pin, his sword. It looks like a sword, but it looks like a fountain pen head.
Yeah.
You know, so you're like, oh, that's clever, you know, type thing. So, like, it was before that was established that they're like, hey, this is what he looked like, or this is what this level looked like in early development. It got scrapped or completely changed into this other level, but, like, wouldn't this be cool? Type thing, which is all cool and cute.
Kind of adds to your earlier point about how it's good for, like, foundational understanding of games. Kind of adds that extra element to allow you to analyze it. Especially if you're a kid, you'd be like, oh, this changed from that to that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, just sort of an idea for, like, just a kid to just kind of figure out what a video game is. I do. I'm with Phil on, I wish they would take us off the tracks a little bit more. I wish there would be some reason to try and get a little bit more creative. There are times when, like, you can, and most of the trophies are based around this, is where, like, you can get a little bit creative with word placements and do funny things to it. For example, there's this part where it's a puzzle centered around a giant block, and the block is wooden, and then the part of the sentence you change is the adjective. So, like, it starts off as a wooden block, and then you could turn it into a metal block, and then you could turn it into a cheese block, and things like that. Well, you can take the word cheese and take it into this cave where there's glowing mushrooms, and it says, oh, look at these glowing mushrooms. And you knock glowing off the mushroom and put cheese on it, it's cheese mushrooms. Like, it's just stupid, like, little, like, haha, like there are moments where you're like, okay, being creative does, like, help you, or does make you do, like, fun stuff, but, like, there's no point in doing those things. They don't get you anything other than, like, a funny little haha moment that, like, is just, like, really quick in and out, and you are no better or worse for doing it. It's moments like that where it's like, I wish you would reward me mechanically with, like, 25 light bulbs, like in that sense.
Yeah.
Instead of making me get one individual light bulb at a time throughout the entire experience, I'm finding myself, Phil, I'm never having enough light bulbs to buy the upgrades.
Yeah.
So I just, every little store in game has a piece of concept art, and then we'll have like, upgrade moves, or you can upgrade your damage per hit or whatever. So like, I just find myself being like, all right, let me get the piece of concept art, and then let me get the damage upgrade. There's a jump attack in the game. I'm probably never going to get it just because it's so expensive, and it's like, well, you always give me other things that I would rather instead.
So I do have the jump attack. I only now in chapter 6 have gotten the spin move.
Yeah, I got the spin move in chapter 4 or 5 or whatever.
Get into high gear.
We must have just swapped which ones we got, because I got the jump attack in that around that time. So
yeah. I mean, I haven't gotten the jump attack because it's always like, you can get the jump attack or you can upgrade your damage. And I'm like, I'm going to upgrade the damage, of course, because if you're giving me a damage upgrade, that means the enemies are going to take more damage. And so when you buy the damage upgrades every time, every single enemy only takes 2 to 3 hits. I imagine if you don't buy those damage upgrades, they start jumping up to like 3, 4, 4, 5, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So like, I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of cool ideas and a lot of like really cool implemented parts of this game. We just don't go any further than what they show you, and I wish they would. Or like, give me a reason to explore the world, and give me a reason to like adventure through all the nooks and crannies, because there's a lot of nooks and crannies. And sometimes it's a collectible piece of concept art, but oftentimes it's nothing. And I'm like, well, you could have, like, there's a part in the 3D on the desk where there's like a giant teddy bear, and you can walk behind the teddy bear, but there's nothing behind it. So I go, well, then why did you make this walkable? Like, you made the choice to make this walkable. Like, at that point, just like put the safeties on and just make me linear in that experience. Like, I don't understand why you're pretending to have exploration. But again,
that's where like the core of my frustrations in this game is. It's like they want us to do all of this fun stuff, but it's not rewarding to do it. It's all just so. I'm stuck on the term skin deep, and I don't know why. It's just so shallow. It's just very frustrating to me.
And see, I feel that, but like the game makes me smile a lot because I'm always going, oh, that's cute. Or I'm always going, makes me fun.
This game makes me drowsy a lot.
And I mean, I get that too. Like I get, Phil, I get your perspective. I think the presentation of this game is so high quality that like it keeps me engaged enough to at least see it through to the end. And at that rate, it's not a very long game. I'm in chapter 7. Each chapter probably takes an hour, give or take. Some of them are longer than others, but some of them are really, really short. So like,
the only reason I'm finishing this game is for the platinum.
I'm almost certain it's going to require a second playthrough for you, and you're not going to do that.
That's what I'm saying.
So why are you even finishing?
The platinum.
Because unless there's a chapter select at the end of the game, there's no way to go back. And there's missable trophies. So if you miss doing something, you can't go back and go get it. So unless there's a chapter select.
Sorry, I meant to ask while you were throwing strays at Final Fantasy 16, how the fuck did you catch the fish on the first try? I fucking hate you.
Oh, that was the easiest thing in the world. I just went yoink and got it. Like, it's a real easy thing to do.
But that's what I thought I did, but then he slipped out of my hand.
That fish got in your head for playing with you.
Yeah,
he did.
Should have been a better fisherman. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I thought the button didn't go. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know how you feel about the Plucky Squire down below. I liked it. Phil's a little more middling on it, but let me know how you feel about it. Are you going to be showing this to kids or buying it for a kid or whatever? I do think if you're going to get a kids game this year, get Astrobot. Personally,
oh for sure,
yeah. But Plucky Squire, still a solid time, still a good enough time.
It's on PlayStation Plus. If you have PlayStation Plus, you can play it for free. So
those that have it, I guess.
For those who have it. Phil, I don't know why you subscribe to that tier. I'm
just letting people know.
Very well.
He's being informative.
He's being informative. There it is. Plucky Squire, let us know how you felt about it in the comments down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment for more. Until next time, have a great time. And gentlemen, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye and have a great day.
Bye. Play Astrobot.